And Maryland will host its annual Red-White Spring Game noon Eastern Saturday inside CQ Stadium. The game will be streamed live on Big Ten Plus, then air in its entirety on the Big Ten Network at 6 o'clock Eastern. What a wonderful job Mike Locksley has done since his return to the DMV post-COVID. And with his stamp fully on the program, Maryland has been to 3 straight postseasons, winning 3 consecutive bowl games. Offense has been explosive. Defense has been underrated. And now the Terps have Big Mo on their side, heading into year 1 of a new-look Big Ten. And the big interview takes us to College Park, where we find our friend Mike Locksley. Locks, always great to see you. How's life, my man?
Rick, what's up? How are you? I'm doing well.
Hey, Locks, I want to phrase this the right way because I know there's no such thing in college coaching now as an off-season. So, in the time between the end of last year and when we see your team on the field for the spring game on Saturday, what's been your biggest focus?
You know what? Just trying to build the roster. As we all know, this new landscape has made it to where developing a team over a 3-4 year cycle has kind of gone out the window. And what you've got to do is every year is a new team. And so what I've tried to do is build this year's version or this year's iteration of the 24 Maryland football family, trying to build it from the ground up with our off-season program and culminating with the red and white game this Saturday.
I know you've said in the past that getting to the bowl game, which you've done 3 straight times, even winning a bowl game, which you've done 3 straight times, now has to be the baseline. So what comes next that you've reached that base in 3 consecutive years?
You know what? I said this a year ago, and we're not backing off of it. The next step for us is to compete for Big Ten championships, which then allow us, hopefully with this expanded playoffs, to have an opportunity to play at the highest level and play and make a playoff run. That's the next step, and that's the big vision we have here, and that's what we're building and preparing to do.
I know Saturday's spring game, it's fun for the fans. It's a showcase that kind of supplements what you guys get to see during practice and all the hard work in the spring. From a big picture perspective of execution, fundamentals, and chemistry, how do you feel as a coaching staff right now?
I feel really good. We get 15 of these opportunities in the spring to develop your roster, to figure out who your playmakers will be in all 3 phases. And, we're one of those programs that because of the type of recruiting we've done and the way we've developed players, I really like where our team sits heading into the summer workouts, which lead into our season. We still got a lot of decisions to make, starting with who our quarterback will be. And we've been having really healthy competition. And I've had a chance now going back into that room to really get a bird's eye view. And I like the way these guys are competing at that position to replace the all-time leading passer in the history of the Big Ten, Talia Tagovailoa. And, as I told that group of quarterbacks, their job is to move the ball and to be a distributor. And I like the way this room has competed.
See, you just did me a huge favor because I didn't even have to ask you about the quarterbacks. I know your answer was right now, I'm not sure who takes over with life after Leah. So you just did me a solid, man.
Well, I'm already giving you the segues. I'm helping you out, Rick.
You always are. Always are. I think you returned 4 starters on offense, and that's a small number, I know, but 3 were all Big Ten selections. And Roman Hemby has become not just one of the best backs in this league, he's become one of the best backs in the country. How comfortable are you with him being able to build on his production, even behind an offensive line that's going to be a new look for you this year?
Yeah, it will definitely be a new look. And when you talk about only 3 returning starters, the one beauty of how we've built this team is we have a lot of guys that played a lot of football that maybe not as starters. You look at the tight end position and you see a guy like Preston Jackson or Preston Thomas, I'm sorry, who's played quite a bit. Dylan Wade, one of those true freshman tight ends, and A.J. Szymanski. These are all 3 guys that played in almost every game a year ago and will be that much better as they head into starting positions now. And so definitely encouraged. As far as Roman, he's the epitome of what a Maryland developed football player looks like. A guy that has come into our program, and each year he's gotten better and better to where he's an all-conference guy now heading into his final year. And what I hope to see is him become an All-American type player. He has the ability. We do have a new look O-line. We've lost two or three starters 2 years ago and replaced them. And I feel really good about bringing in some of the guys we've brought in that can help us immediately up front.
Locks, you've always had good receivers on your team, whether it's as a head coach in College Park, back to your OC days in Champaign. You've had guys who can catch the ball, take the top off. You look at Ty and Caden last year, both inside the top 5 in terms of yards per completion. They are true game breakers. What does that mean for what this offense can do regardless of who ultimately gets the nod at quarterback?
Yeah, when you have two proven playmakers like Caden and Ty, and these guys are battle tested in Big Ten play. Caden coming over as a transfer, where he played there at West Virginia, and then Ty again, one of those guys that's entering his 3rd or 4th year in our program, and really has gotten better with each year. As a quarterback, a guy that's coaching the quarterback position, to have those type of playmakers along with a Roman Hemby, you got those 2 young tight ends who I think the world of, Dylan Wade and Preston, who both have so much potential as receivers, and then AJ Szymanski in the run game. So the quarterback's job will be easy when you got those type of players around them.
Defensively, a lot comes back. I mean, Ruben, I would think, is the unquestioned leader, but you got Quayshawn up front, who has really become a little bit of a game record. And that secondary, Dante Trader, Glendon Miller, part of a group. You guys were top 5 in the country in terms of interceptions a year ago. I know it's tough to compare and contrast. Does this group at least have the potential to maybe be the best defense that you guys have had since you came back to the DMV?
You're right. It's hard to compare and contrast, but I can tell you when you look at the type of players and the production that we have returning, and B-Dub, as we affectionately call Brian Williams, has done a tremendous job with the defensive staff of getting them to play together. I mean, it's one of those no-name type defenses. We have a lot of really talented players, but maybe not the stars or the star names where you hear a lot. But as you said, all they've done is quietly put together 2 good years of improvements, and I definitely see defense being the strength of our team. Obviously with the new quarterback coming in, we'll have to ride that defensive production, that defensive leadership that we've developed to help us as we continue to find out our identity on offense post Leah.
All right, Locks, let's touch on a couple of new guys. I believe that there's 9 of your 24 signees who are early enrollees that we could potentially see on Saturday. You also hit the portal for about a half dozen transfers. Any new names that you think we could see on Saturday make a splash and make us think about what they could potentially do for your team in the fall?
Obviously when you bring in the transfers, and I've been on the record, I mean, the only way we're in the portal is if we have immediate need. And so when you think of that, you think of a Jalen Husky who transferring in and coming up from Bowling Green, a local product guy that we knew a lot about, became an all-conference player there at BG, and transferring back in and replacing obviously 2 talented players in Jaquan Shepard and Tarheeb Steele. He's a guy that's really stood out this spring. You look at, on the offensive line, these guys won't be household names, but, Alan Haran and Lou Ba are both great additions. And even the Josh Kaltenberger coming in from Purdue as a grad transfer. All 3 of those guys have really kind of meshed and gelled, and having a spring under their belt has really helped the way we've developed up front. So a lot of new faces. I expect some of these high school freshmen that are in our program to be able to come in and help us as well.
Now, I'm a big schedule guy, and I looked hard at your schedule. I like the setup because it's a 14-week schedule for you guys, which means you get 2 byes. Yours come in week 5 and week 10, which appear to be pretty good timing. Obviously, things can change, but on the surface, that's good timing. And the second one comes right before you have to make the long trip out to Eugene. You also get the 5 home, 4 away this year. Do you like the schedule set up as much as I do?
I just know we're not the new kids on the block anymore, and we're not getting the new kid on the block prices that we got with some of the scheduling we've seen in the past. But it's great to have our four new members join and maybe have to deal with some of the things that Rutgers and we had to deal with. But no, it's a good schedule. I like the layout. I can't complain. To have the 2 byes right at kind of the halfway point of the season and right near the end. And I'd say that the Big Ten schedule gods looked down and looked out for old Coach Locks, man, for the years of purgatory they had me in.
Locks, I've been told, I've asked many times, I've been told it's a computer. The computer spits it out, the computer doesn't. That's what I've been told. That's what I've been told. I'm not trying to tell you that. I'm just telling you what I've been told. Hey, Locks, it's always great to catch up. Wish you and the guys the best of luck this Saturday. It'll be a lot of fun watching. And, of course, look forward to seeing you on the field this fall as well.
You got it. Appreciate you, Rick.
All right, from College Park to the West Coast, when we come back, Jake Butler joining the show to help us learn a bit more about two of the new kids on the block. We'll get the expert insight on UCLA and Oregon.